The Niger Delta is one of the world's 10 most important wetlands and coastal marine ecosystems. It is the delta of the Niger River, sitting directly on the Gulf of Guinea on the Atlantic Ocean in Nigeria. It is located within 9 coastal southern Nigerian states, which include all 6 states from the South-South geopolitical zone, 1 state, Ondo, from Southwest geopolitical zone, and 2 states, Abia and Imo, from Southeast geopolitical zone. The Niger Delta is a very densely populated region, sometimes called the Oil Rivers, because it was once a major producer of palm oil. The area was the British Oil Rivers Protectorate from 1885 until 1893, when it was expanded and became the Niger Coast Protectorate. The story of the region changed, however, when in June 1956, oil was discovered in commercial quantity in Otuabagi, Ogbea Council area of the old River State, but present-day Bayelsa State. Rich in oil, Nigeria was then launched into global economic reckoning as the lure of petrodollars effectively relegated agriculture to the background. With it came a problem as exploration for oil became trouble to the soil, attracting international concerns over extensive pollution, often used as an example of ecocide. Over the years, the waterways, mangrove forests and ecosystems has been damaged by constant environmental menace and oil spills. The region has experienced a series of devastating oil spills caused primarily by multinational corporations' industrial activities related to the extraction and transportation of oil and gas. Yet, another reason is third-party interference or bridge, often referred to as sabotage by aggrieved youths of oil-producing communities protesting the seeming negligence of a region described as the goose that lays the golden egg. Due to this amount of spills, the Niger Delta is considered one of the most polluted areas on Earth because these spills have inflicted severe and continuous damage on the delicate balance of the region's ecosystems, impacting both the environment and the livelihoods of the communities that depend on its resources. That feeling of neglect became a prevailing notion shared by a growing number of the aggrieved youths in the Niger Delta, leading to armed struggle against the federal government as a form of protest. The birth of militancy in the region so adversely affected Nigeria's economy as daily oil production dropped drastically to an all-time low. At the peak of the crisis in 2008, crude oil production dropped from 2.6 million barrels per day to merely 600,000 barrels per day, indicating a 70% drop in production and a significant impact on revenue accruing to the federal government. The crisis lasted until the federal government, under the leadership of President Umar Musa Yar'Adua, initiated an amnesty program for militants in the Niger Delta on June 25, 2009.
I hereby grant amnesty and unconditional pardon to all persons who have directly or indirectly participated in the commission of offenses associated with militant activities in the Niger Delta.
I am presenting this as a gift for the love of our nation, Nigeria, but war that we don't pray for. Since amnesty has come to stay, Let us also use legal means to address our issues and look for a total peace.
The ex-militants voluntarily surrendered their weapons to the federal government, which was quick to also roll out a three-phase program of disarmament, demobilization and reintegration to society. But even before the amnesty program, Yar'Adua's predecessor, Olusegun Obasanjo, had created the Niger Delta Development Commission (NDDC) in the year 2000 in response to the demands of people of the region with the sole mandate of developing the Niger Delta. In September 2008, President Yar'Adua announced the formation of the Niger Delta Ministry, with the NDDC becoming a parastatal under it. One of the core mandates of the Commission is to train and educate the youths of the oil-rich region as a means of curbing hostilities and militancy, with policies and guidelines to develop and improve economic diversification and productivity in the 9 states within its purview, namely Bayelsa, Rivers, Cross River, Delta, Akwa Ibom, Edo, Ondo, Abia, and Imo. Just as the NDDC has evolved to accommodate 1 state in the southwest and 2 states in the southeast, its leadership has also evolved over the years. On Wednesday, 23rd November, former President Muhammadu Buhari appointed Dr. Samuel Ogbuku as Substantive Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of the Niger Delta Development Commission. Nine months later, President Bola Tinubu reappointed him MD and CEO of NDDC, while the board was inaugurated on November 16, 2023.
With the inauguration of the board, it means that we have accepted to be part of the Renew Hope agenda of our President Ahmed Bola Tinubu. And to that very extent, you need to be very much conversant with the 8 presidential priorities of Mr. President, ranging from food security, ending of poverty, inclusivity, job creation, anti-corruption stance, rule of law, because they form the agenda that drives this very administration.
Dr. Ogbuku has his work cut out for him, and very much prepared, he hit the ground running. He identified stakeholders' involvement as a vital component to solving problems in the region. Walking the talk, the managing director ventured into the creeks of many far-flung communities just to feel the pulse of the people. He has also met with traditional rulers of the region, including private meetings with Government Ekpemopolo, popularly called Tompolo, Alabo Idiabali Mujahid Dokubo Asari, the Sekuro I of the Niger Delta, King Ateke Michael Tom, and many others. Worthy of note are his meetings with the former and present governors of Rivers State. He has also had profoundly successful discussions with the governors of Delta State, Sheriff Oborivore, Omo Eno of Akwa Ibom State, Lucky Ayedatiwa of Ondo, including Doye Diri of his home state Bayelsa, and others in the 9 states within the purview of the interventionist agency. The board of the NDDC has even taken the stakeholders' engagement beyond the region to the international oil companies, corporate organizations, and indeed the business community in Lagos and Abuja, where fruitful deliberations on its public-private partnership model were held to provide alternative sources of funding for projects and programs to effectively drive sustainable development in the region. Much as the NDDC strives to fulfill its developmental mandate to the people of the Niger Delta, it has also embraced the old saying, health is wealth, particularly in a region with attendant health challenges as a result of persistent gas flaring, oil spills, and other forms of environmental pollution. In response to those concerns, the NDDC has revived its medical outreach program in the 9 states. Further, in line with the global advocacy for net zero carbon emissions, the Niger Delta Development Commission is leading Nigeria's charge in renewable energy implementation. The Commission has embarked on the Light Up Niger Delta project, which aims to illuminate communities with solar-powered streetlights. The NDDC is adopting measures to promote the use of clean energy as part of solutions to climate change. This was expressly stated in no unequivocal terms at the global stage during the 2023 Climate Change Conference COP28 at the Dubai Expo City, when the MD of the NDDC addressed delegates at the Nigerian Pavilion while speaking on the theme Green Innovation for Climate Resilience Development in the Niger Delta Region, a credible approach to net zero target.
We're trying to partner with organizations like Zoe to see how they can also help in telling our stories for the world to understand what we are passing through, because we have also tried to comply with the Paris Agreement by investing so much in solar energy. Recently, if you go to most of the communities in the Niger Delta, we are providing solar energy. And we hope that with this investment, we are also going to get carbon credit for most of our investment, because we see such investment as both economical and social investment.
We want to be a partner with you. I think as I saw the presentation that there's a number of things that we will be able to assist and help with carbon credits, with technologies to be able to help in the Niger Delta, and we look forward to that opportunity.
Just as the Commission expresses commitment to the well-being of the people as well as the infrastructural needs of the region, its board has also signed a performance bond with the Ministry of Niger Delta Development during a retreat at Ikotekpene, Akwa Ibom State.
The leadership of President Ahmed Bola Tinubu is looking critically into the development of coastal roads in the Niger Delta. Of course, this matter has been presented before us in the Federal Executive Council, and through the Ministry of Works, work is going on to see that there is a coastal road from Lagos through Port Harcourt to Eket, so that at least if you are connecting those areas, you will do it with ease, and that is going to be achieved through PPP.
We are determined to reposition and retool the Commission because the expectations of not just Niger Deltans but Nigerians very high, and there's a good synergy amongst the board members. So at the end of the day, we're pretty confident that we will deliver on the mandate of Mr. President.
After activities of last month, which saw President Bola Tinubu commissioning NDDC project in the Niger Delta, the interventionist agency is set to deepen conversations further with the hosting of the Niger Delta Stakeholders Summit 2024 to be held in Port Harcourt, the Rivers State capital.
Stakeholders engagement is one of the key aspects of Mr. President's Project Hope agenda. And for us in NDDC, we believe in fulfillment of that, we ought to engage our stakeholders. Engaging them to understand what the Youth Hope agenda means for the people of the Niger Delta and how it's going to serve the people of the Niger Delta. We started this process by first of all having engagement with youth bodies, youth organizations in the Niger Delta. Thereafter, we had engagement with women organizations in the Niger Delta, and later to ethnic nationality leaders in the Niger Delta, before getting to this point where we're meeting with the entire stakeholders in the region. All these we're doing in order to ensure that we build consensus before the Stakeholders Summit. The Stakeholders Summit proper is going to start with the technical session, which is going to be on the 10th of July, Wednesday. Is aimed at looking at key issues. After about 7 topics are going to be discussed, which will be presented by different scholars and personalities. Those issues are going to be dissected. Those issues will be discussed vis-a-vis various challenges on the Niger Delta. Because we believe the Niger Delta as a region for a long time hadn't come together to discuss issues facing the Niger Delta. But with the summit, we know at the end of the day, most of our challenges are going to be discussed and a communique is going to be issued which will be forwarded to the authorities. But we know that when people come together and decide on what to do, it will benefit society better. So we're bringing all the major stakeholders from the region to Port Harcourt for this event to discuss issues that are challenges to the Niger Delta and also the way forward, to educate our people on what Renewed Hope agenda stands to benefit the people of the Niger Delta. So we can also make our own input towards what Renewed Hope agenda has to do with the people of the Niger Delta. Renewed Hope agenda is generic, but let us also define our own Renewed Hope agenda that we'll also send to Mr. President on how Renewed Hope agenda will benefit the people of the Niger Delta. That is why the theme of the summit is Renewed Hope for Sustainable Development in the Niger Delta. For us in NDDC, it is also going to be an opportunity to also tell the people of the Niger Delta what we have achieved so far and how the NDDC have served the people of the Niger Delta within the period of our stewardship. Recently, you are aware that NDDC was able to commission some landmark projects in the region in commemoration of Mr. President's 1-year anniversary, where we were able to commission the 27.5 kilometer road with 7 bridges and 50 culverts linking Obia to Nembe, the Obia Nembe Road in partnership with SPDC. We also commissioned the 600 meters bridge in Ibono that is going to connect Ibono local government and Eastern Ogun local government in Akwa Ibom State, which we also used the opportunity to flag off the second phase of that project. We were also able to commission the transmission and substation in Okitikupa in Ondo State, which provides light to 5 local governments that have been in darkness for the past 15 years. All these projects and more
are things NDDC have been able to achieve within this short period, and we ought to celebrate it. When we came in, we came up with the policy of the Triple T, transiting from transaction to transformation. This is the proper transformation that the Niger Delta is witnessing. The Operation Light Up the Niger Delta, which we have started and which is very, very successful. I think many more communities are still clamoring for solar lights, which we also hope to deliver after the complete passage of our budget. The budget 2024 is actually going to be a real budget of renewed hope, because it is a budget that is going to ensure that most of the projects that have been stalled and abandoned in the Niger Delta are revived. Most of those projects are projects that Mr. President has given the go-ahead and marching order that we ensure that we complete those projects, because he wants to commission legacy projects in the Niger Delta in the next 2 years. We are very, very committed to that instruction and to that charge. Hence, we are waiting for the passage of the budget to go back to work. Once the budget is handed over to us, we can assure everybody that the Niger Delta is going to be a very, very busy place for everybody. We want to use the opportunity to thank the National Assembly, especially the Senate President, for accelerating the passage of our budget. We also want to thank our National Assembly members who have shown patriotism by cooperating to ensure that the NDDC 2024 budget is passed. Because we want the people of the Niger Delta to discuss issues bordering on the Niger Delta exhaustively. They are also going to look at the NDDC to see if the NDDC have served the people of the Niger Delta better, if the Act has actually stood the test of time to ensure that yes, we are served better, or if the Act needs to be amended to ensure that the people of the Niger Delta benefit from NDDC better. So many issues are going to be looked at in the summit, but we believe that the outcome of this summit is also going to change the narrative in the Niger Delta. The Niger Delta, I can assure you, is a peaceful region as against the initial image that was painted about the Niger Delta. This is one of the most peaceful regions in Nigeria right now. We're using this opportunity to call on investors to return to the Niger Delta. We want even the IOCs who have left for deep offshore, let them come back to the Niger Delta to operate on our onshores, so that at least the economy of the Niger Delta can also be improved upon. We want to use the opportunity to call on individuals from the Niger Delta to also return their investments to the Niger Delta, and also ensure that job opportunities are provided for our youths. But if there's one thing I also need to mention, I also need to tell the world that the NDDC right now, when we talk about transiting from transaction to transformation, we are very, very serious about it. Hence, we are putting policies in place that will also guarantee that proper transition. And those policies are such as we engage in the KPMG to design internal corporate governance structure for the NDDC, which will regulate us both internally and externally. That shows our level of commitment. They have done a preliminary report which they've presented to the management of NDDC, and that report is going to be improved upon. It's going to also provide SOPs for us. So the exposures we used to have may not be there. It will soon be a thing of the past very soon. That also gave us the opportunity to now bring about the Project Hope, which we thought was going to be a platform to ensure that every youth in the Niger Delta is captured in the database of the Project Hope, to give equal opportunity to everybody who has interest for engagement in our programs and activities.
The Niger Delta Stakeholder Summit is an important part of the puzzle that we need to formulate the right strategies in dealing with the problems of the Niger Delta. So what we've done is to ensure that we invite the critical stakeholders drawn from the ethnic nationalities, the private sector, and also the public sector, to sit down for 2 days and help us in fashioning out the issues and, more importantly, the solutions that are needed to drive home the sustainable development project for the region in line with Mr. President's renewed hope agenda. So we hope that this mechanism would enable us to have a proper needs assessment of the region, so that we're not accused of just doing things without hearing from the critical stakeholders and the people that matter the most.
Welcome to the Niger Delta Stakeholders Summit 2024.